And so tomorrow is the big day. It's December 15th, which is the beginning of the sort of trade season. That's when many players become available for trade that aren't currently otherwise. And the Lakers, they push the marker to December 15th when Rob Pelinka is planning on trying to make a deal. Now, we do know that he has been in negotiations and he's been trying to work on things. They even submitted an offer to Bojan Bogdanovic, and we'll see where that goes. Obviously, it takes time to negotiate things, and December 15th isn't a deadline, right? It's the beginning, right? It's the new start. I see a lot of people in just comment section stuff like that in general just saying like, hey, is the deadline this, deadline that? It's not. It's the beginning. It's not like we only have until the 15th. The trade deadline is like February 14th, I think, something like that, 13th. So we still have 2 months to really kind of try to find various deals. Now, I do think the Lakers make some deal. I don't think they'll do the Russ deal unless like just a crazy trade is on the table and it's like, okay, you got to make that move. I think very likely it'll be like Damian Jones, JTA, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, guys like that, along with second round picks, first round picks, whatever they need to go get several players to kind of come in and really help us. And then around the trade deadline, wait and see. And if there's that big move that makes sense, now you can pull that move off, trade Russell Westbrook, and then maybe you're a contender now and you're off to the races. Because I do still think that there's going to be a fire sale for a lot of teams come the trade deadline. I really do. I think that you're going to have a lot of teams that are still kind of on the fence, right? Because nobody's really no one's really great this year, right? Like outside of like the Bucks and the Celtics, everyone else is just kind of the same. And so I really think that there are teams that are going to start making decisions. Like, do we want to pull the plug now and kind of hit the restart button? You're going to have tanking teams that are going to maybe be more willing come the trade deadline to make some deals, to make some moves. Like, example is the Pistons, right? Like, they don't really want to trade Bojan, but if the deal is on the table, then they'll take the deal. But, a protected first is likely going to be there at the trade deadline. So the way they look at it is like, hey, if you want to trade for him now, a protected first is what it's going to cost. But otherwise, we'll just wait because we'll probably get an unprotected first. Or sorry, the reverse. If you want Bojan, then you get an unprotected first. Otherwise, we could wait and you could get a protected first come the trade deadline, right? That's kind of the Pistons' logic and thinking when it comes to that. But good thing is the Lakers have many options. The Lakers have many trades that they're talking about and working through, and hopefully one of those arise. Now, don't necessarily think that a deal is going to happen at like midnight tonight. It's the 15th, cool, everyone's available, or even at all tomorrow. I would hope that something happens before this weekend's over, right? Like between now and the end of the week, that would be solid. I think something happens before Christmas. I think we definitely get a deal before Christmas if we're going to do a deal, right? If we don't do a deal by Christmas, then I really think we don't do anything by the trade deadline. So that pretty much gives us, right, like basically this week to really get something going. But it's just don't expect for at, 8 in the morning tomorrow, you wake up and you don't see a Laker deal. Like that very likely could be the case because everything takes time, right? They still got to walk through this. You still have to find teams that are willing to do a trade right now. This isn't like, in the off season when free agency hits and you got all these trades and you got all these deals and you got all these signings and all. That's not what this is going to be, or even the trade deadline. This isn't like the last hour of the trade deadline where all the deals are coming in. This is going to be probably a process, to say the least. But we know Rob Pelinka has been kind of going through things, right? And right now, the sort of frontline news type of deals is Knicks and Pistons, right? The Lakers submitted their offer for Bojan Bogdanovic. The Knicks are interested in trading Cam Reddish, and they kind of want to unload Evan Fournier in a deal. And there's lots of talks about the Lakers being one of those teams that the Lakers, they want shooting. Evan Fournier, he's been a 38% three-point shooter for his career. Another 6'6" guy, so gives you some size. You're probably unloading guards. Yes, of course, we'd like a 3-and-D sort of wing type player rather than another 6'6" guy. But if Evan Fournier can kind of get back, even if he could just get back to being 36%, that'd be huge for the Lakers. He was always a serviceable defender, not elite but serviceable enough. Cam Reddish, nice, young, sizable wing. There's even little reports and murmurs that basically that the Lakers would get these two for free, and that the Knicks might even be willing to give an unfavorable first, because they have a whole treasure trove of first-round picks, right? They have a whole chest just falling over with first-round picks. So they could take, the least favorable pick and attach that to Reddish and Fournier, and in that case end up making the deal. And there are talks that the Knicks are actually considering maybe giving one of those less favorable firsts so that they can move off of Fournier, because his contract does expire to like 2025. So you're taking on some real salary. And the Knicks basically Fournier is completely falling out of the rotation. Cam Reddish wants out. They want to unload Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is kind of falling out of the rotation as well in many ways. So the way they look at it is we get to move on. We get to run with the guys that we got. We get to clear some salary. Boom. Win-win for everybody. Lakers, if they could get another first, then that'd be huge. Now they have, Russ and 3 firsts to go and maybe make a deal or two. That could be huge, right? Maybe teams would be more interested, more inclined to do a deal now. And maybe you could even get like a bigger type of deal. Also, you have the Spurs deal, right? You got various Spurs trades. You got, Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl. Maybe get all 3. Maybe get a combination of the 2. That would be nice. I think whether it's Jakob Poeltl or Josh Richardson, I think that would be solid. Jakob Poeltl might be the better option. Now, Doug McDermott, I think, is solid for, his 3-point shooting and stuff. But what you'd get with Jakob Poeltl is a guy, like, you could bring Jaka off the bench, and I don't think it'd be the end of the world. I don't think he's going to throw a fuss. And on top of that, like, it makes sense, because the Lakers don't need, like, Miles Turner. Like, I know a lot of people want Miles Turner, but the problem is you want AD to play the 5. And if you go get Miles Turner, then AD is almost never going to play the 5. If you get Jakob Poeltl, you could start AD at the 5, bring Jaka in to relieve Anthony Davis, and now you always have a solid, serviceable, quality starting level center. And then you can, in spots, play Anthony Davis at the 4. But you don't want Anthony Davis playing a majority at the 4 spot. You just don't. And that's kind of my issue with the Miles Turner, Buddy Hield. Although Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, I imagine, is probably still an option. I don't know. You can make the argument maybe it's not. We haven't heard anything about it in quite some time. And the Pacers are actually half decent. But my guess is that the Lakers were willing to give up both first. The Pacers would do the deal because, one, they're not winning a championship this year, and they know that. Miles Turner's probably still leaving at the end of the year, and they know that. And then they still want to move off of Buddy Hield. So, nothing has changed for the Pacers other than, like, oh, now we don't get Victor Wembanyama. Like, that's probably the only thing that's changed. But, like, all the reasons they wanted to trade Buddy Hield and Miles Turner all still exist. So the Lakers could probably do that deal. And, look, if you could do, like, Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish and get another first, maybe you could keep one of your firsts and go get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. So maybe you get Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, Reddish, and Fournier. Like, that's something to think about too, and something that we might explore. Maybe I'll break down some like 3-team trades and stuff, because we know the Lakers have been talking about 3-team trades. But I think the Spurs are definitely worth a good look, especially now that the Lakers have shown a willingness to trade at least one first, right? It makes sense to kind of go and have a look, have a talk with the Spurs, see what you can work out there. Maybe you could work something out with the Pacers, something along those lines. I just don't think the Pacers are going to drop their price until it gets closer to the trade deadline. I could see at the trade deadline them being like, okay, like, fine, we'll take one first. But I think right now they still, they still are in a position to stand firm, right? I still think the Hornets deal is the best deal, or might be the best deal, especially if you could get PJ Washington. But if you could get like a combination of like PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre, Terry Rozier, any 2 or all 3 of those guys. Gordon Hayward, I don't think you can make a move for now. It made a lot of sense before, but he like fractured his shoulder, so it's kind of hard to justify that. Taking a guy that just fractured his shoulder, that can't stay healthy and is injury prone. But they have all the wings. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They're tanking. Although LaMelo Ball's supposed to be coming back, but even then, you're not winning anything, right? And like, and it'd be silly too. It'd be like, you're so bad, you might as well just unload everybody, just tear it down to the studs, have LaMelo Ball, go tank, get Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson, which very likely they would, and then bring back Miles Bridges, and now you got Bridges. Best case, you got Bridges, Victor Wembanyama, and you got LaMelo Ball. That is perfect. If you're the Hornets, you got those three for the next, 7 to 10 years. Like, what more could you ask for? I mean, you got a legit 20-point per game, sizable 3-and-D wing. You got maybe the new face of the league in the next few years, and you got LaMelo Ball. Like, if you can't win with that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Now you just got to get the right pieces around them and you're good. But you'd also clear, all of your salary except for Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward only has, a year. Next year he's, an expiring, right? Something like that. So, I don't think it's a bad move if you're the Lakers to try to go get a deal for P.J. Washington, Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre. And then for the Hornets, if you're the Hornets, you're thinking, yeah, why not? Do that. Let's do it. Let's unload it. Let's go to the tank. Let's go to the tank zone. Let's get out of there. Give up P.J. Washington. Yeah, that sucks, but we got to pay, other guys, Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, all this stuff. You got to clear cap space. P.J. Washington is going to be due. We get a first-round pick. Yes, it's a couple years from now, but hopefully by then, Victor Wembanyama, LaMelo Ball and Bridges are developed and ready to go, and we're a contender, and now we could use that to draft that missing piece or go trade and get a piece. I don't know. It just makes sense for both sides. But also, who knows if a team comes out of the works, right? I wouldn't be surprised if a team just comes out of left field and swoops in for a pick. Because, I mean, look, there are teams out there right now that are middle of the pack that could just be everybody's killing each other over trying to try to get the Lakers to get fleeced or whatever. We don't have use for these 2 or 3 guys. Why don't we just go get the first? If they want a top 10 protected, okay, cool. If we don't convey it, doesn't convey, whatever. We want to unload these guys anyway. So, let's take a chance, take a risk. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a team that does that. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a team that's hey, let them top 5 protected. Top 5 protected, and then let's go get that. Because why not? Especially if you're a team that's middle of the pack and you just have a bunch of salary guys, or you have a bunch of guys that you don't really see for your future, and you could potentially get a lottery pick in 5 years. Why not? Go do it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, Lakers need to go make a deal? Hopefully it happens immediately in the morning. What deal do you think the Lakers made? What deal do you think the Lakers should make? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. I'd love to hear them. Let me know down in the comment section below.